got your Tennis Fitness Made Easy tip. What I'm going to share with you today is one of the primary muscles in the hips that we really need to stretch, especially in today's chair-borne society. A lot of us are at the desk seated for X amount of hours, and so when you're seated at the desk, your hip flexors are very tight. So when you go to stand up, you have a very tight hip flexor, and it's overactive, and what that does, it actually shuts down the glute. So the glute is the primary mover in triple hip extension. So when we go to walk, that glute needs to be firing properly, because if it's not firing properly, then the hamstring, which is the next muscle, takes over the function of the glute, which is not supposed to. So today I'm going to share with you how to properly stretch the hip flexor to increase that communication so that glute can really fire. And so again, out on the courts, we're doing a lot of running, a lot of pivoting, a lot of turning, so the glutes and the hips have to be very strong and very healthy. So we're going to start with the hip flexor stretch. And in the hip flexor stretch, go ahead and place like a towel down here, because you're going to do a kneeling hip flexor stretch. And so what you're going to do, you're going to take your right hand, place it on your right glute. As you place it on your right glute, that gives you kind of like a mind-muscle connection, because what you're going to do here is you're going to fire your glutes. So in other words, you're going to contract that right glute here, and as you contract it, you're going to move into that hip flexor stretch. So we're going to stretch this muscle right here. This is called the hip flexor. A lot of people you see, they'll just kind of go into the stretch without having to really contract that glute. So what happens is that hip flexor is not being stretched properly. So just real quick, if I were to make a bicep contract, my opposing muscle group right here, the tricep, is very relaxed. So that's the same concept here with the glute, contracting the glute, then we're going to go into the hip flexor stretch. So here, as I'm nice and tall, I contract my glute, and then I just go into that hip flexor stretch. I feel a good hip flexor stretch here. I just hold it for about 10 seconds, and then I come out of that stretch. Then you're going to repeat again, reset, nice and tall, contract that right glute, and then you're going to go into that stretch, and that'll properly stretch that hip flexor. As soon as we get the hip flexor stretched, then we're going to go and lie down on our back here, and we are going to stretch our hamstrings, because a lot of us, because of our glutes are tight, our hamstrings take over the function of the glute. Again, it becomes very overactive. It's not supposed to, so our hamstrings are relatively tight. So here, doing a hamstring stretch, you're going to take your upper leg here, place it perpendicular to the floor. Take your hands, place it behind your hamstrings, and I do what we call a 3-leg pump to really get that good stretch of the hamstring. So it looks like this. I'm going to go 1, 2, and 3. So we're just going to hold this stretch for about 6 to 10 seconds. Here you can see I'm stretching my hamstring, and then I'm going to come down with that upper leg. Now I'm going to repeat again. 1, 2, and 3. Notice again just a tad bit more range of motion that allows what we call soft tissue extensibility of the hamstring, properly stretching the hamstring. So you want to do that about 3 times. From there, we're going to go into what we call a single leg bridge. Now, we're really going to get, since we stretch the hamstring here, and stretch our hip flexor, now our glute is ready to fire and be strengthened properly. So here we're going to take this leg, tuck it back, keep this leg down, arms out to our side, and notice I lift my toe on my right foot, allowing me to really use my heel to drive down through the floor to come up with the hip. By doing so, that's going to activate and strengthen that glute. So here it looks like this. You're going to push down through the heel to come up with that glute. So as I come up, I exhale, just up and down. We want to do this for about 20 repetitions. As soon as you're done, then you would do the left side. Again, real quick, we start with that left knee down because we're stretching that left hip flexor. So place your hand on that left glute, nice and tall. Contract that left glute. Go into that stretch, stretching that left hip flexor properly. Again, we come out of it. So we're only holding about 6 to 10 seconds. Then we're going to repeat that again. Do that about 2-3 times. Then we're going to get on the floor here. Then we're going to do that 3-leg hamstring pump stretch for 1, 2, 3. We're going to hold, feeling a good stretch of the hamstring. Again, holding for 6 to 10 seconds. Then we're going to come back down. We're going to repeat that again. 1, 2, 3. Hold. We're going to repeat that about 3 times. And then we go ahead and do that single leg bridge. So I'm going to come up with the right leg this time. Arms out to my side, palms up. And I'm going to be pushing down through my left heel to come up and down with the hip, firing that left glute. Exhale as I come up. Nice and controlled with the movement. Strengthening my left glute here. Again, performing about 20 repetitions. As soon as we're done there, we're going to come on up. Then what we're going to do is a lateral lunge. Because again, in tennis, a lot of our movement in tennis, we move laterally. Especially when we're playing singles, right? We're on the baseline, we're hitting our strokes, engaging in a rally. So a lot of the movement is side to side, lateral movement. So what we want to do here is strengthen that lateral movement by doing lateral lunges. So here we're going to just go into a lateral lunge. Notice as I move to my left, right here, notice my left knee is aligned with my left foot. My right leg, my opposite side, I'm having a good stretch of my right inner thigh. This is a very unique stretch, actually exercise rather. Here, actually, I'm strengthening my left leg. My right leg, I'm actually stretching my inner thigh. So I come back to my neutral position, then I'm going to move to my right. Again, watch this knee. Want to make sure the knee is tracking the foot. You do not want to do that. A lot of people will go into the lateral lunge, they'll do this. Okay? You want to make sure that knee is tracking the foot. So you're going to go side to side. Doing lateral lunges, really strengthening the side of the hips, which is great for tennis. So we do about 20 repetitions. That'll be 10 per side. As soon as you're done with that, then we're going to add a little power movement. Power movement is kind of what we call ice skaters, where we kind of jump side to side. So here, as I'm in the neutral position, I'm going to hop to my left. As I hop to my left, what we call this is called deceleration. So I decelerate, I control that movement, then I hop to my right. Same thing. Hop, hop. So you can kind of go side to side. So if you notice, it mimics that movement of an ice skater, just side to side. That's really good for like return a serve. So if you're on the court, as you're receiving a serve, it allows you to really react and really hop and go into that return a serve. So, real quick, just to review, we got that hip flexor stretch. We really want to stretch that hip flexor. Then we're going to go down into leg pump, hamstring stretch, stretch the hamstring. Then we're going to go into that single leg bridge, so we can strengthen that right glute. You do the same thing for the left side. Come on up. We go lateral lunge, side to side for 20 reps. And then you can add that ice skate, a little bit of power movement, side to side. You do that for about 20 reps. Try that and you'll notice the difference out on the court. This is Fujii with your tennis fitness made easy tip.